Hi guys, my name is Anshavi, and with me I have Fiona and Aaron. For our third year IPD project, our main topic was shoreline change detection and prediction on the Kerala coast. So, all of us know that shorelines are the nature's first line of defense, and due to various natural and anthropogenic factors, the shoreline has been delineating over a long period of time. The Kerala coastline is about 580 kilometers, and it's been highly vulnerable, especially after the 2018 Kerala floods. Furthermore, shoreline change is often a key variable that helps us access flood risk and estimating the different kinds of properties along the coast. So, our project aims at creating a proactive coastal management and disaster preparedness for the shoreline of Kerala.
So we reviewed around 28 papers on this topic, and we categorized our papers into five major segments, that is pre-processing, segmentation, prediction, open CV, and ground truth. What we realized is that remote sensing technique is a common topic found across all the papers. A few of the research gaps in the existing works was firstly that tidal dynamics was not incorporated in shoreline change analysis, especially for the Indian coastline, that is the Kerala coast. And due to it not being accounted for, there is a reduced accuracy in tidal influence regions. Secondly, the lack of accessible environmental data sets such as the bathymetric data, wave parameters, the solar lunar activity data was not present for the Indian coastline, which hindered for a shoreline prediction model. And thirdly, there was a short term shoreline variation underrepresentation due to data collection primarily focused on long term trends. So now let's move on to the problem definition. Firstly, due to the lack of diverse data sets, especially in dynamically shifting regions like Kerala, models struggle with inaccuracies, impacting the land sea segmentation. Secondly, missing environmental factors like data, tidal variations, wave height, and bathymetric constants hinder the creation of a shoreline prediction model. And thirdly, data and model limitations increase prediction variability of future shoreline changes, which can eventually compromise efforts to enhance coastal resilience and preparedness.
So, as Fiona mentioned, the gaps, we have resolved the majority of the gaps that we could. Coming to the first thing was the lack of tidal influence and accounted for. So, we integrated a bidirectional LSTM model which took in real time tidal data along with lunar phases for the moon and accounted for the adjustment required for the shoreline change. As compared to the second gap, which was the bathymetric data lacking, we took into consideration the tide heights at different timings in the day. We calculated the mean tide height. We even took into consideration the beach slope and the tidal coefficient. Coming to the short term shoreline changes which had been overlooked, we took biseasonal Sentinel 2 data, which were taken during two durations, that is in Jan and in May, accounting to capture even short term analysis, even though our analysis was for a period of 5 years.
And to add to that, to improve the Lancy segmentation, we are using Meta AI's open source segment anything model to label our data.
Okay. Coming to the project architecture, we collect Sentinel-2 images from Copernicus Data Hub, and we download individual bands of these images, which consists of B02, B03, B04, and B08 bands. Using these bands, we pre-process the images and we create an NDWI image, normalized difference water index. And using this layer, we create a segmented image using the segment anything model, which Fiona mentioned earlier. And using now we have the segmented image and we have the NDWI pre-processed image as well. We use the pre-processed image and we create a polygonized vector which allows us to extract the land feature from the image, and we create a line layer so that we can create the shape for the coastline. After creating the shape for the coastline, since it's pixelated, we smoothen the shoreline layer and we georeference the masks on those images. After that, we merge all the individual masks and create a merged coastline shape file. which consists coastlines ranging from 2018 to 2023. We have collected 2 images every year from 2018 to 2023, consisting of 10 images. After that, we have created a 500-meter buffer, which we'll be showing images for that as well in the later slides. And after this, we create transects. We have created transects after every 40 meters, and we have used these transects to compute our change statistics. So now we have computed 4 different parameters, which is called which are NSM, net shoreline movement, LRR, linear regression rate, SCE, shoreline change envelope, and EPR, endpoint rate. We have used these four parameters, and we have used the Kalman filtering model to predict the future shoreline. And after this, the lunar data and the tidal data allows us to calculate the dynamic tidal correction, which Anshui will be focusing on later. So these are the images that we had collected from the Copernicus Data Hub. The left image is the satellite image that we have collected, and the right image is the segmented image that we've received from the segment editing model.
These two represent the B08 and the B03 images. These are nothing but different layers of a similar kind of an image, and using a raster formula in the raster calculator, these images help us to find the actual NDWI images. These are the two kinds of images. The first one has the vegetation index highlighted, and the second one has the water index highlighted. Both of these images are used for pre-processing of geospatial images.
So this is the shoreline change analysis. As we can see, we have collected a coastline we have collected 2 coastlines for every year. One coastline is from May 2018, and the other coastline is from December 2018. And this way, we have collected 10 images ranging from 2018 to 2023. Now, these are the coastlines that, as you can see, these are the shapefiles for each coastline that we've extracted from our images, segmented images. And we then merge these shorelines to analyze the changes in shoreline. Let's go next.
So now moving on to the various parameters that we've calculated. This is the net shoreline movement. We can see that in the middle of the transects, the accretion rate is dominant. That is, the shoreline is moving towards the sea. And there's localized erosion as well, as indicated by the red patterns. And this is the endpoint rate. We've got an average endpoint rate of around 6.1 meter per year. This is the linear regression rate, that is all the various parameters that we've calculated. It fits the linear regression line, and again we can see that there's an accretion dominant area in the middle central section of the transects. This is the statistical change metrics that we've calculated. We can observe that around 86 transects record accretion, whereas only 5 transects record erosion. So there's an accretion dominant trend. We can see that the mean shoreline change rate, that is the endpoint rate, is around 6.1 meters per year. That is, it means that it is moving 6 meters every year towards the sea. As mentioned in the architecture previously, we've used the Kalman filtering model to predict the future shoreline movement. So this is the calculated future shoreline change of the next 10 years. As you can see, the green line indicates the predicted shoreline, and the yellow line, that is on the left and right, indicates the uncertainty points, that is the error that could be accounted for, and that is 20 meters.
So, coming to the novelty that we have introduced in our approach, just predicting the shoreline is not enough for actually considering whether the predicted shoreline is accurate or not. Because whenever we are taking geospatial images, the time at which these images are acquired also play a very significant role. For example, if a geospatial image or a coast is the image for that is acquired during a high tide or a low tide, the shoreline or the actual shore of the place gets covered a lot. For example, there are 2 types of tides. There is a perigean tide and there is an apogean tide. Perigean tide is when the moon is the closest to the earth. So a perigean spring tide may cause the image to appear significantly different from a one that is mapped during a neap tide. And despite there actually not being any permanent land movement, but just the temporary water movement caused due to the tides, as a result of which, taking into consideration the tidal movements and the lunar phases is very important. Coming to our first formula, that is the corrected value of H. So in this, the CM and CP stand for the corrections that we've taken into for the moon phases and the apogee perigee calculation. CM is the moon phase calculation where the variable dm gives us the number of days since the last or the previous full moon or a new moon. For simplicity purposes, we had considered the slope of the Kerala coast to be 0.286, which is considered a constant slope due to the very low angling of the Kerala coast. The predicted height is the mean into the tidal difference and the coefficient multiplied. So by adjusting the shoreline positions, we get a uniform tidal reference, and we are basically assuming a Pythagoras, where given the slope and the vertical distance of the wave height, we are able to calculate the ground horizontal difference in the tide. We got So we had done an analysis of 30 days from December 2nd to December 31st, and we got an average waterline movement of around 527 meters on the highest day to only 200 meters around the 150 meters around the lowest day. And this bidirectional LSTM model achieved a MSE score of 0.011. So concluding our project, this study represents a comprehensive methodology of how shoreline change detection and prediction works on the Alappuzha coast of Kerala. We started with the use of Sentinel-2 data imagery and used the Meta-AI SAM model for delineation and segmentation of the shoreline. We also use the 4 parameters, that is NSM, LRR, EPR, and SCE, which further captured the magnitude and the directionality of the coastal shifts. To address the tidal inconsistencies, we introduced a bidirectional LSTM model that mapped the novel dynamic tidal movements as well as the phases of the moon. And this, all in all, gave us a good and robust prediction and change detection system for along the Kerala coast.
Thank you.